Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here along with the talkative ones. Oh, you want to say it now? You want to condemn him on the air now?
Yes.
Pull the mic in front of your face, please. Oh, God.
I hate when that.
Let me tell you something. I don't know much about science, but I know this. If you step under a tree, it's a certain temperature, it's a certain feel. If you step out of that temperature, out of that tree, you know that the Earth is either getting closer to the sun or the ozone layer is going away and the sun is more intense. It's just intense. It's like a magnifying, you know when you do a magnifying glass?
You can feel the heat burning
Yeah.
your skin just from being outside.
Roofing ain't for me. Not now.
This is the hottest. I've never felt heat like this before.
Yeah, but of course, this, whole icebergs are falling apart, there's tsunamis. But hey, the whole thing is fake.
Listen, when you have, there's this this fella that I know from Nigeria. He says he cannot fathom this heat.
Yeah, well,
This heat.
He ain't from Nigeria.
Yeah, he is. He is, said.
No,
he is.
Where he live in? Where he lives?
He says this is
Where does he live?
a different kind of heat.
Where does he live?
What do you mean where?
He lives in Nassau?
Yes.
He ain't a real Nigerian.
Yes. No, he was.
He's a
You
transplant.
have you been to Nigeria before? Can you
Yes,
compare?
I have been.
No, okay.
No, you haven't.
Please
I just
tell us
said
about
it.
your experience.
Okay, I would say he don't even know what's going on in Nigeria right now.
Of course he does.
Okay, the Nigerians can handle it, man.
No, man. I tell
You know
you.
what I mean,
this
Ken?
is
He ain't no true, as we say, he ain't no true member.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, he they don't know AC.
I even have a Jamaican friend who says this is some type of heat that she's never experienced
live?
before. Oh, well, she's from country.
She live in Nassau.
Huh?
She lives
She
in
lives
Nassau.
in
She
Nassau.
ain't no true Jamaican man.
But she lives a little closer to the clouds
Okay, how you mean?
in the mountains.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so
Okay,
it's a little bit
okay,
cooler,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
no, it's listen, I'm happy to report. I think that's the way to put it. The world is coming to an end, and I'm glad I'm almost there in a minute. You know, it's so funny, right? My life,
It's all aligning.
my life,
up with you.
my life is like, I'm retiring, right, in 5 years,
Oh,
and it just so happens that the maximum benefit you can get for retirement, you have to be there for 25 years. So my retirement is my 25th year.
Well,
That's how it works out with me.
That's great.
Okay, so when I'm ready to go, the work will be over. It doesn't. I told Candace, I had a discussion with Candace. I said, look, I'm sorry for y'all. Okay, y'all gonna be living in Armageddon, man. I said you need to get a motorcycle and some of them things with the little studs and stuff on it. You know, like World Warrior.
What thing?
With
Yeah,
studs,
the
I
gloves
don't
and
know.
the jackets and all that.
Oh my dear.
Why?
That's how you in Armageddon. That's what happens.
After the apocalypse.
After the apocalypse, only people who have motorcycle and that kind of gear.
And level.
Yeah, never that kind of gear.
And very short haircuts.
People with me
Because you
with
need
shave
those.
and cufflink, they ain't gonna make it.
That's the criteria.
I saw what was it? Was it? I think it was either Eli, the book. What is it?
Book of Eli,
Book
with
of
Book of Eli,
Denzel.
or the recent
Mad Max one.
Mad Max one with the woman.
Yeah,
right?
with Charlize.
I don't remember
Theron.
which one it was, but it was one of those. I think it was Eli, and there was a scene at the beginning of the movie where this, I don't know why they put him there. This couple were walking through the, I guess everything is desert in the apocalypse, right? Okay. And they're walking, a man and a semi-attractive woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then you heard the sound of the motorcycle. I say, okay,
Coming.
that's it. That's it, okay.
It's over.
They can kill him, and they can have some fun with her. And that's what happened. So I can't make it an apocalypse because, that's why I told you this before. When I hear about the bomb, when everyone on the highway driving away, I drive it into the bomb.
Just to
Get it over with.
simple.
Okay?
Because you know what it is. He's ending it all.
Y'all gonna be in traffic jam trying to escape?
Wait. Ed doesn't even have the energy to try to
What's that?
find. I said you don't even have the energy to try and find a way out.
Oh,
You're
no.
just going.
Oh no.
You're just
I
ending it
got
all.
one of them leather things. Okay? Them fellas be buff, man. You see them fellas? They got mohawk.
So you don't have one of those end of the world type of bags, like like they
Yeah,
people have
like
like your
apocalypse bags.
bags.
I need apocalypse gas to head into the thing. Okay? If the bomb is coming from the west, I heading west. I heading into it.
What you think they's having those bags though? What on earth?
What they need to have is like a whole city with a bubble. That's what they need, okay?
A blow-up city.
A blow-up city with a bubble, bulletproof, motorcycle-proof. Water, lots of water. I can't. I'm sorry, Erica.
There's too much to think about.
I'm at this age now, right? What am I doing in a survival mode? Come on. You know?
Dad, you could live to be 95 years old.
Yeah, with your ear hanging out of your mouth. I can't fool with that. Okay? You're deformed. You got to hunt for water. You got to be someone's wench. I can't fool with that. Y'all have it now. I had my fun. So I can tell you now, and I'm just announcing to the people as they drive home. I don't want it to be depressed or anything about this, but I don't know. I think I give you like 15, 20 years before the world comes to an end.
What will finally do it, you think?
You know, I saw a movie that I hadn't seen in a long time. I just happenstance. You know, I just happened to go. It was 2012. And I'd seen it before, but I didn't remember it. So I watched the whole movie. But the premise of it was that the core of the Earth was melting. Yeah. Faster than it's supposed to, whatever. And as a result, the crust of the Earth was unstable.
Was caving in.
Caving in. And so it just, the Earth reshaped. And I could see that happening. Why not? You got the volcano in Hawaii. That stopped yet, by the way? I think they even stopped watching that now, right?
They stopped covering it.
That was supposed to be like a little short thing.
It's old.
They got new land and stuff now.
That was quite astonishing to watch, though, on television.
But I think it's still going on, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Trump even overwhelmed that.
I know.
Okay? You don't even hear about the volcano that is, you know, creating new land. And you have the fires in California.
Is that's happening again?
Oh, they got like 50 fires. See, you don't even care about that. Okay? It doesn't. You got earthquakes. You got, and then you got in Pakistan, as a result, I think, of the iceberg breaking somewhere like in, I don't know, Greenland or Iceland or somewhere. They're having tsunamis. They're having flooding in Pakistan. Yeah. How far is that?
That's nuts.
That's not close, right? So
yeah, let's move on. Though.
Yeah, but I just want to get you mentally prepared.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Have your fun now. Say, you know what? I go into wherever I didn't want to go. Well, I didn't think I was going. Like I want to go to New Zealand, so I can try and make that. What you shaking your head for, man?
Why not?
I mean, that's the most popular destination on the planet. Ken, what's wrong with you?
It's beautiful there.
No, I want to hear. Excuse me, sir. Can you give me the rationale of you just unilaterally saying don't go there? Huh?
What is it? Sorry.
What is the problem with New Zealand?
No, it's actually go to Lutheran, man.
Go to Lutheran.
You almost caused me case on the radio, you know. I say I want to go to New Zealand, and you tell me I must go to Lutheran instead.
Go for something, man. Just hang on the bomb. It's the best place to be right now in this heat wave.
Oh, and you willing to fly to New Zealand?
Yeah, why you get there?
No, because I know didn't you complain about going to...
You take some drugs.
South Africa?
I just remembered you did not...
No, I don't like it, but I want to go to New Zealand.
How long will it take? Like
3
days?
It's like you fly from here to Dallas. Then you go to Australia. New Zealand is further than Australia.
Right, yep.
Then you go to Australia. You got to hit in Australia when you're in that section. But my man over here is telling me, forget that. Go to Flatland, Eleuthera.
Take the ferry to Eleuthera.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple of times, Ken.
Yeah, I know. There's.
You've seen it different.
Ken? All right. Yeah, we'll be back.
Heineken proudly present.
Yeah, be intimidated. I can imagine Erica trying to be intimidated. I forgot to introduce. Let me introduce Erica Wells Cox. She's our co-host today. With Candy is here as well. We have on our show today Surexia Roll, who's Vice President Operations and General Counsel for Western Air. But yeah, no, it is hot. I don't think it's going to get cooler. I think that we're probably in a place where we're kind of fooling ourselves because we don't want to think about it. I was even saying to someone, they're saying that the Bahamas will be underwater 50 years, which thank God I'll be way gone from then. because then y'all gotta
Ed
like
is gonna be the
y'all have to be y'all have to be hanging out with your scuba. The best place to hang out is by Stuart Cove by then. But all of these things, I don't know if they're reversible. If it took millions of years to get to this point, I don't know if you can just say, oh, we noticed that now, because and then we did like I think like Future Shock, there's an acceleration of the damage, right? Because like what's happening now, they didn't expect it to be happening so soon.
Right. Yeah.
So, so what else you got going on, Erica?
Food for thought.
Yeah, what else you got going on?
I can't get past the heat, really.
Yeah.
It's just
it's
oppressive.
It's unbearable.
Yeah.
And it makes you want to go to sleep.
Yes. It's not a very productive time of year. I see why certain places just like shut down in August.
Like, where do they do that? I want to move
like
there.
Like Italy, France.
They get hot? They get hotter there?
They just don't want to work, Ed.
It's just Greece.
Oh,
they kind of like shut
when
down.
When she said Greece for a second, I was thinking because it's Greece. I don't know. Anyway.
No, we probably should shut down for a couple of hours.
No. Let me just say this to you. The Bahamas will be the last to shut down.
Yeah, we can't
we're already
do that.
shut down.
Yeah.
Okay?
We go to work in shutdown mode.
Once we get to where we got to order some corned beef and some baked chicken. We're already down. We see us sing from the morning. Okay? No. The last thing you want to say, can you imagine if you said to the especially in my good friends in the civil service, you get from 2 to 4 to sleep?
You think they'd come back to work?
Well, first of all, there's your pre-sleep. That's when you prep to sleep.
And what time does that start?
Right, anywhere after 12. Okay? So once you see, if they say 2 o'clock is sleep time, oh, no, we just can't start at 2.
We got to prep.
Warm up. You start fixing the bed. You'll have all kind of fancy cots to work. You'll have to provide sleeping area. Oh, no, we can't have that. We can't have that. But yeah, no, I'm just, I don't know what we're going to do. It is extremely hot. I went into the water the other day. It's not even cool. It's not even refreshing.
You can't even cool down.
Yeah, I don't even want to be outside at the beach.
Because you kind of have to be like with a snorkel with your head under the water.
Right. I mean, not until it's like 7 o'clock in the evening when it's cooler. But it's crazy.
What's so funny about that?
No, I'm laughing because I spent my entire weekend on the beach, and let me tell you, I wish
the mask thing just kind of
the whole shebang. I should have just spent my whole time underneath the water, just submerged.
You'll just see those diving flags everywhere.
There's somebody here.
About 100 diving flags.
I should have done that.
But I have never felt that uncomfortably hot before, where I'm like, I don't even want to go to the beach.
It takes seconds. You literally walk outside, and before you know it, within say 30 seconds, you're just miserable.
Yeah.
So I applaud all the
people who work outside,
landscaping guys, the roofing guys. They should just everyone light themselves on fire. They're going to wait now.
But wouldn't it be dangerous to work under those conditions?
Yeah, it has to be, man.
Well, you have to get those like them cloth over your head that cover your whole head.
It's like some people put like a cloth under the hat and it comes all the way down.
Right.
And no matter what hue you are, by the end of summer you will be black. That's a fact. Okay, so it's just oppressive work. It's hard work, and I don't, I did roofing before.
Really?
In the States, and it was hot then. That's not fun, because the surface area of the roof is reflecting heat. So I applaud all those people, man. But I don't know what we're gonna do, honestly. What else is new in your world? We got. I see where the PM is calling for. Well, he says he doesn't have a problem with hanging. Yeah, I don't know if I do either. I have a problem with hanging, not because of the hanging, but because of the possible error. That's it.
You mean in the hanging process?
Like if you make the wrong person, yeah.
Right.
That's why I go with your truth serums and what have you.
Right. Well,
why are we going back to that, though?
The truth serums?
No, the hanging. I mean,
get rid of some people. Yeah,
I don't know if I agree with all that.
Our hands are pretty tied with when it comes to following through with
so
that
politicians
anyway.
could say because the Privy Council stopped it.
It's just...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little barbaric.
Well, you say that, and I don't want to belabor this conversation, but you know what's barbaric? Life in Fox Hill Prison. That's barbaric.
Well, okay, that's okay.
No, but see, I don't get the distinction. I see, if you're going to be.
I'm not saying keep it as it is.
I saw a movie the other day. I don't read. I saw a movie the other day. It was called. What was it called? I don't remember what it was called. But this woman, her daughter got killed, and the guy would have been up for the death penalty. It was like in Los Angeles or something like that, and she kept pretending like the guy was not been found, but she had found the guy, and she had him locked up in her yard. She lived in the country, and she had locked him up, and they eventually another policeman discovered it, and he had been in this prison that she had made for 13 years. And
is this with Julia Roberts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
And she never spoke to him.
Right.
And when the other cop found the guy who was in prison said one thing. He could hardly talk. He said, "Please ask her to speak to me." You just gone off your rocker. Because, here it is.
13 years, no human interaction.
No, and he even touched the guy, just to touch him.
Aww.
No human interaction. He was in a cage, got his meals, no speaking.
He was like an animal.
Right. Okay. And in fact, the only solution, because obviously for a number of reasons, was to shoot him. I mean, it was like because if they revealed that she had kept him, it would have been a problem. It's complicated. But the reality is, I certainly would not want to be kept in any place for life in a cell. It is not that is not humane to me.
You wouldn't be
we
kept
put
like
animals
that.
to sleep. We do euthanasia on animals.
Right. But
yeah,
I mean, they wouldn't
sick.
be put under those conditions.
What's that?
Right. I'm not saying not to improve Fox Hill or these, prisons and things like that. I'm not saying to leave it that way, but I just don't think that
Okay, so suppose you're in a luxury cell that you cannot leave.
Wow.
It doesn't make a difference what the condition of the cell is.
Right.
It's in a cell. You can't. I don't know if you saw that movie on Alcatraz where they put the guy in solitary. It was a true story.
Yeah.
For years and years and years on end. I mean, it's. I think that's.
You think that's worse than death?
You can handle being in prison for life. No, just shoot me. Just shoot me. I'm good
but
with
not
that.
everybody needs to be. There are people that do.
But they're not coming out.
No, but that's
it's for
okay.
life.
Right.
But then they can somewhat. I don't know if redeem themselves is the right word to say, but I mean you have people who change, who can
rehabilitate
right,
them.
who can
Yeah,
be
but what are you
rehabilitated.
rehabilitating them for? You're not letting them out. The point I'm making is I'm not talking about the guy who goes to jail for 3 years, and I'm not talking about those.
Yeah, but then kill them and then that's it.
No, I'm saying the person who you sentence to life in prison without possibility
of parole. They can find meaning somehow. People do.
Well,
I might sound crazy,
right? Because what you're doing though is you're making the decision on that. Okay.
But you're also making the decision to kill them.
That's correct. What I would do is maybe ask some of them people if they wouldn't mind dying. I bet you a lot of them wouldn't mind dying.
I don't know.
But anyway, I'm signing up for the death. Okay, kill me because I'm not going in any prison cell for the rest of my life.
We've already established that you.
Yeah, I don't mind.
You
check out.
You leave it in.
Ken said he'll check out. He'll check out.
What do you mean? Okay.
Listen, let me tell you something.
I think if you were really faced with it, you would choose your life.
Let me tell you something. You see the two of y'all? Y'all stay right there. Y'all miss Goody and Lutra and all that.
Hey, Mom, say anything.
Put y'all in jail for life.
Until you're presented with the actual choice or decision or...
That's true. That is very true, but I think I'm going down.
Mm-mm.
Now, what's happening on the other side of things, on the other side of the world? We're not hearing much about Trump anymore.
Really?
Or maybe I'm just not watching it.
You're not watching.
Okay.
I don't even watch and I hear about Trump.
He had
choose not to.
He did some crazy tweets today. He did like multiple tweets. They were all lies. I mean, par for the course. I don't understand what it's going to take.
I've already given you all the conclusion.
What are they going to do with him?
The conclusion is that there are three possibilities. A, he's just a nutcase, which I think is a very strong possibility with dementia, etc. A lot of doctors say that they think
Yeah,
he
I've
has some
heard, and they're
elements of
saying
dementia.
that like seriously, like
Yeah.
they think there's something
B,
wrong.
he has some serious, embarrassing stuff that he doesn't want found out. Just ultra embarrassing. And C, he's killed someone or had someone killed,
I was just
and the
gonna
Russians
say,
know.
what could be so embarrassing that?
Well, some criminal thing that's just so criminal that he would go to jail for the criminal act.
Right.
So
And he doesn't want that found out. Now, I think between all of these people, like Manafort and Cohen and Gates and all that, I think your boy Mules already have everything.
You think he does?
Yeah. What is he going to find between now and, he already has everything.
But you know what I found astonishing is that Cohen recorded some of the conversations with Trump. But they were Cohen was supposed to be like his, like, number one trusted.
But he treated Cohen bad.
But I found that astonishing. So think about what kind of dynamic that is.
Well,
When your lawyer is recording conversations with you.
Well, when you're doing, you know what it is? It's protection.
Yeah.
See,
For himself.
He knew he would
knows
need
Trump.
it.
He knows Trump. And Trump, the way that I understand Trump treated him was very bad. Like with the
But
bomb
Trump
mitzvah and all that.
underestimated him.
So, first of all, Trump never thought he was going to be president.
True.
But the guy, I think, if you and I are doing a little dirty deal, I got to have some protection.
Right.
And especially
And
if
if I
you're the
have
one with
any
the money.
sense, I need to have some
Right.
protection.
Especially if you're the one with the money.
Yeah.
And you're the one telling me to do it. You see what I'm saying? You're the one telling me to do it, so you don't. That's another world that we're not in.
Yeah, what I can't get over is I don't think we've hit kind of the threshold yet for being astonished by what he has done or what is going on around him that seems to be connected to him.
That's why I think it's. The most rational thing is probably money laundering. That's the most. That's the Russian connection.
You think that's what they'll get him? Well,
Yeah.
not get him, but
So what I think, let's connect the dots. He does not wish to show his taxes. Go
Right.
back to that. Okay? People who don't want to show their taxes, who run it for president, got something to hide.
Mm-hmm.
2, he's got major connections with the Russians. And there was a period of time where he was broke and bankrupt, and no bank in the United States would lend him money. And all of a sudden, he was buying golf courses and stuff cash. Okay? So I think there's some serious financial issues going on.
Some muddling.
Yeah.
okay. So there's that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what about the fact that his supporters think that he can do no wrong, even when he's behaving like a monster?
Well, so if you were back in 1950s in Georgia, okay, and you were white, okay, and some people were doing some lynching. Well, you didn't really convict the people who were doing lynching. You sit on the jury, you go, well, let's go with that. That's our boys. Okay? That's our boy.
So we haven't moved on.
It's tribal. Strictly tribal. We have not moved on. Okay? We have suppressed, and now we have reemerged.
And I think that his presidency obviously has emboldened people.
The
I mean, you
gophers are out of
see
the hole.
what is happening.
The gophers are out of the hole. You see what happened in Chihuahua? You saw that, right?
Oh, yes, in Atlanta. Yes.
Wago.
Yeah.
You saw that, right?
Mm-mm.
We'll talk about it when we get back. We'll be right back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest this afternoon, who's going to be coming shortly, we hope, is Rexy Roll, who is the VP of Operations and General Counsel for Western Air. But before we get there, we get some other stuff. So Shivago Lang was in Atlanta. You know,
Atlanta.
there's a couple of ways to say Atlanta. None of them are at. It's Atlanta or Hotlanta. But it's not really Hotlanta. That's just a kind of marketing thing.
Right.
It's Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah. Where you from? I'm from Atlanta. So, you know what they say
So what
about Atlanta,
happened?
right?
No, what?
What do they say?
Once you get out of Atlanta, you're basically back in Georgia.
Oh.
Because, you know, Atlanta
Yes.
is not Georgia, right?
Right.
But in this instance, they were in Georgia.
Wow.
Shivago Lang was there with a group of young people. And I'd like to find out, because the story wasn't really revealing how it occurred. Was it just they were in a room, they were eating or something, and some guy just randomly just decided this is what I'm going to say.
Like,
He said, you N need to get out of here and call the girls who are kids sluts, and they need to go back to Africa.
Oh boy.
Zippity doo dah, zippity a.
When did this happen? Sorry.
Like a week ago or so.
A week. Okay.
And the redeeming thing of the story, because it's tribal, all these things are tribal, is that a white guy jumped up and said, "What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And so the guy, the offender, said something to him about your white trash or something like that, and the guy said, "Oh, well, anyway, this you fool with the wrong white trash today," and he punched him in his face.
Oh wow.
Oh.
And the police came, check this out, and according to the story, the police assumed that the blacks were attacking the white fella,
Yeah.
and they had to clear that up first. It's a good thing no one got shot, because they're just shooting one guy. It's let's bring out the napalm. If it was 50 blacks, you got to bring out some kind of napalm or something. So
Can you imagine how
but fortunately
traumatizing
that didn't happen,
kids?
and the police, it got sorted out, and
How old were the kids?
and they took the guy away.
But I mean, this is.
How old were the kids? By
I
the
would
way,
say
I don't know.
16, 17.
Okay,
It
so
seemed like a
teenage.
youth
But
leadership
this is
thing.
becoming every time you look at the news or go on Facebook or Twitter,
Yeah,
you
that's
see
the kids there.
these instances of these just crazy racist rants.
Yeah.
And you have to wonder where is it coming from? What's going on?
What I would say, because I like those, I relish those situations. I would say, no, I'm not going back to Africa. I'm going back to the Bahamas. That's where we're from. But you need to go back to your cage, something like that. Because you're an animal.
But you don't even want to provoke someone
No, but
like
you
that.
didn't provoke him. He provoked you.
But these people are just dangerous.
Yeah, they could pull out an AK-47, and the next thing you know.
But I
Not
mean,
in
it
use.
really does make you think about traveling to the U.S. I mean, not all areas of the U.S., but certain
And this
areas.
is a major hotel in Atlanta.
Right,
It
we're
isn't
not
like-
in some hick town.
I used to always say, remember I told you how, I ended up some towns, man. Whoo! Woo! Okay? I was in this one place that was called Montevideo, Minnesota. It was either Monty or, anyway, it was Marshall, Minnesota. And they had this place called the Valhalla Bar. Or ballroom, Valhalla Ballroom. What they would have is these rural towns would have like a ballroom area that all the other small towns would come to. It's like a hootenanny.
Right.
I've not heard that in such a long time.
What happened,
That
Ken?
is funny. A hootenanny?
A hootenanny. And you brought your own booze. They supply you with mixers.
This is a
This
recipe
ain't sounding
for
good. They have a case. You have your alcohol in a case. You bring your bottle, and they'll provide mixers. They didn't have a liquor license. They'll have a band. It's the hootenanny. You have a band, and you do your little, stomping.
Little line dancing.
So I went in there, and I was only black for miles. And so as soon as you walk in,
how you get there?
well, my friends, that's where we went. So Jim Cool was his name. His name was Cool, Mark Cool actually. He was from Marshall, Minnesota. So we went there, and we walk in, and right away, I know
Like
I've
the
got to
music
prepare
stopped?
myself. No, it was too. They were too drunk to even. But because of this environment, I kind of do the, I put on the Iron Man armor.
Shoulders back.
I ready. I ready to take off any minute. Okay. So I walk in, and I'm sitting at the bar. And this guy comes to me. I'm going to roll candy over here.
Oh, he always uses an example.
And he puts his hand around me. This is at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And he looks at me and he says, 400 years we've been oppressing you people. Okay? He went into that whole, we should be ashamed of ourselves.
Being apologetic.
Yeah. He's telling me because, he's got his hand. Now,
I'm sorry.
he marched right up now, so he can switch any minute. I don't know what, okay, any minute he can switch up.
Right.
Okay? But he's apologizing to me, and, he's going into the whole history, and, it's just a damn shame. Let me buy a drink. So I got to buy a drink, man. But that's the kind of,
Well, I went to school in Alabama.
Alabama?
Alabama. And listen, places like, I mean, and then I went to school in Alabama. Of course, I went to Mississippi and New Orleans,
okay.
Louisiana.
In other words, you just made it out alive.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's
when you know you're in a redneck scenario? When you go to a gas station and the gas pump, it's on dirt.
Oh.
I've seen it out.
You've seen that?
I have
You've
not
those?
seen that.
I've seen everything.
The pump, like how the pump usually is on like concrete.
Concrete, yeah.
But it's like a small little gas station, and the pump is directly on the dirt.
Have you ever been to Selma?
No, I've never been to Selma.
Listen, you've never heard an accent like that before in your life.
They talk like
no, you don't. You can't even understand with them. You cannot.
See, the guys in the States when I was in Georgia, the black folk, I didn't understand what they were saying.
Yeah. And
I just kind of went with I thought they were saying.
Mm-hmm.
So they were going, I tell you, I'm telling you all. Okay? So if they sounded excited, go, okay? And they went, I tell you, I don't say it that way. I go, no, sir. I just went with high or low.
But when I went to school in Alabama, that was the first time that I kind of encountered, not from a white person, any kind of racism or anything like that, but like black Americans there couldn't understand. Like, where are you from?
Yeah, you so coming
like,
up in the girls.
From? Like, are you?
You know what you're like? You're like your boy Samuel L. Jackson on Django. Who he is? What are you doing up on that horse?
I guess combined with my accent and stuff like that, they knew I wasn't from there, and
You and your regular kind of black, are you?
No, so they asked me. They're like, so what are you? I'm like, well, I'm Bahamian. No. What are you? Are you black? I looked at my skin and I was boy, last time I checked.
Because of how you sounded.
I was black. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it had a little curly hair.
No, it's amazing. The tribal thing is an amazing thing. And if you are aware of it, it's all about how you gauge the environment that you're in. I went to school up north, which is not a big a lot of diversity. And obviously, once they heard my accent, that like a whole bunch of different, a whole bunch of other myths kind of had to go away.
Right.
Because they didn't, they, like you say with Candy. But no, the thing with Zhivago on those is very sad. Now, let's get back to home. And I think it's more of a historical thing. I think it will go down in history, unless you back shot. Okay. We haven't been. The show was Thursday. When did Backshot happen? Friday.
Oh
my gosh.
So I'm reading this story because someone came into my office and said, "I got to see this story," but I'd seen the headline, and it said, "Super value."
Stop sex benefit.
Or something.
Right.
So I read the first paragraph, the first thing. It didn't really. I'm thinking, how can he? That'll not happen because it's obviously against the law. Because I didn't know what the deal was,
Right.
So I thought what it was he had a group health insurance, and he told the group health people, we're not covering
X out.
Maternity anymore. No. He has his own medical fund, which is extremely benevolent, if you think about it, because they cover all catastrophic scenarios, and up to recently, sex. And it was happening too often, because I was not aware, Erica, and Ken and Candy, I was not aware that when I went to the Walu, that if I had gone, say, in a cooler, I could have run into some back shot. Were you aware of that, Erica and Candy?
No.
Okay.
But I have to say, I went to Super Value Saturday.
You look around?
And it had an entirely different feeling to
Lord,
it.
I feel bad for that.
Because you're looking at them cashiers.
You're going in there like, now which one of y'all?
Yeah. I mean, but like on a serious note,
do a serious note.
It was extremely inappropriate and
it was
non-productive.
Okay.
Not a helpful way to discuss the issue.
Well, I don't think he was discussing the issue. I don't think he really wasn't. That was, you know what he did?
Why was that
what
news,
he did?
by the
That's
way?
the thing. What happened was
Yeah, why
he
was
probably
that
was
Right.
being asked about, AML,
Mm-hmm.
Abaco Markets had talked about their thing
They're
going
10,
down.
They're 10%, yeah.
They're 10%, which I think to replicate or to repeat the Deputy Prime Minister's views is too short to tell. I mean, it's not even the end of July.
Yeah.
So you don't know what the factors are. But anyway, let's assume whatever. Then they must have called Roberto. Okay? Okay? You know Roberto? And Roberto, actually. Okay? So they asked him, well, what's your thing? And I imagine he's comfortable with the media thing, and he's having a media discussion. And they must say, I don't know how to get to that, but he was probably
That
just
sounds
saying.
like
Probably like cost cutting.
Derailed.
Cost cutting.
They probably asked him about
Sound
how
like he
he's
just run
adjusting
hot.
to the
Like-
VAT.
So
to
he
the VAT
just,
increase.
and I don't know how media savvy he is. Maybe he thought he was just having a little private
Maybe,
conversation.
right? Maybe he thought it was off the record.
But if he didn't say
No.
OFD,
Oh, yeah, off the
they
record.
write it down.
Or he just
Didn't
didn't
care.
care.
He have a problem.
I'll go with that.
He's done the stats.
Yeah,
The people are juicing away the medical fund.
and they need to stop. Oh my goodness.
Okay?
That,
That's what he's saying. He's saying, look, we got this fund, and, we're looking at the stats, and the pregnancies are dipping into this fund. We
Yeah.
can't have that. So
I mean,
we,
although he shouldn't be suggesting, that people not have babies and not have.
No, he's
you
not
know,
suggesting that,
no, but
he said, I'm not paying for that.
right. He's
Right.
just no. You could have
Now,
babies all you want.
Now he says, yes, okay, maybe it will encourage them to have, but he didn't say don't have babies.
Right. I'm just not paying for it anymore.
It came across like
I think it was
a
just,
little
it came across
high-handed,
basic.
but I think not unfortunately, but what happened was the nature of the quotes used in the story.
Which, again, I think were pointed.
Took away from the general
Seriousness?
of the statement.
Yeah.
Maybe he's dealing with lots of
I
reports.
imagine
of,
that if they
write-ups.
had an internal discussion to say, look, we're not covering pregnancy anymore, it probably wouldn't have made it even in the media. It probably was a discussion with the newspaper, and I think they couldn't wait to put the words back shot. I think they waited till the middle. You get that on the second page.
Well, the quote.
Because that should have been headline.
That quote was on the jump page.
You see, because the headline should have been "Back shots are easy."
No
You'll be right
question. Oh, okay.
Yeah, our guest must have had an issue getting here. With the I don't know if she was coming from Andros or not, so there might be an issue. But no, I'm serious because that's where the Western is headquartered, I think.
Oh, I thought she was on the island.
Yeah, well, I'm not familiar with where she or may not be. So Candy is here, but I still think we want to go back to this issue
of super value.
Well, it's more so to the propriety of what you as an owner can say, do, not do. Sometimes, and it's amazing because this one isn't taking any real traction in terms of pushback, anger, whatever, right?
I mean, from the employees?
From anyone,
who?
from just the general public.
Public comment. Yeah.
Well,
Like Dion, folks said, there's nothing illegal.
Right. There's nothing.
There's no labor law that's being broken. In
Right.
fact, he was going above and beyond with labor
This
laws.
was outside of what the Employment Act provides.
Right.
right,
He
but then
still
I
has to
brought
provide
up
coverage, like if you get pregnant and you're on the job, you have to get so much weeks pay and all that. All that's still, But he was covering prenatal and all this type of stuff.
Lots of major companies do the bare minimum.
They don't cover pregnancy?
follow. Well, they just follow what the
The rules
Employment
are.
Act.
Right,
yeah,
right,
they don't go above and beyond.
I mean, was trying to ask the question before the break. It's just, but as an employee, like, while yes, he's been doing great stuff for them, and I just don't feel like what he, just how we have now, I say we like I'm an employee, but just how they've been portrayed. Like, you cannot walk into a Super Value now without looking at them like,
Yeah, well, if you look at him, what does that mean?
I don't, this just.
I don't know the harm. You got to quantify harm, right?
Well, it was extremely inappropriate.
Yeah.
It was degrading almost in a sense, how
Yes,
he
it was
spoke about it.
degrading.
It was degrading.
I don't want to be on the bad side of this argument, or not argument, discussion. But here's the thing.
I'm just talking about both sides.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing. Things sometimes in a statement are more telling than what you want it to be, right? Or okay? So the fact that someone can say, and this is scary, that we find them in the coolers and the warehouses means there's a pretty frequent level of frequency of this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Forget about the pregnancy thing.
And that's troubling in itself.
Yeah, forget about the whole, because I don't know how one really acquaints with the other, because you could be doing this in the cooler and not get pregnant.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm just saying he has two issues, seems to me. One is a high prevalence of pregnancy that's affecting the fund.
Right.
Bing. And I'm making a decision on that.
And he's suggesting that the women are getting pregnant on purpose to take advantage of the fund.
That's all one bubble.
Right. And that's also to say that the pregnancies resulted as the.
But that's why I say that isn't. That's why I say he really has two issues.
Right.
His issue is one is the pregnancies as it relates to the fund, and the other thing is he has a big problem if people are just copulating on the job. They ain't worrying about no siesta.
All over the place.
They're gonna be siesta because they tired. Okay. So that seems. For someone to make that comment, no matter how crass and inappropriate it is, means there's a level of prevalence.
It comes from somewhere.
That is commentable.
So then is this an issue that exists in other areas and other places of employment?
I'm sure,
but you see, it's about logistics. Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, because you see in that warehouse on Carmichael Road.
Yes.
Okay, you got to figure how many aisles go down there, how many, boxes, the back of the warehouses, the cooler.
When people coming in and out.
So I don't know if that's something that can happen, like, at, Eric Cox and Co. law firm, where there's like four offices.
People.
I could have called a real law firm, so I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, but no.
So yeah. Let me know you don't have a law firm.
Right.
Okay? So where you have like four offices, one is yours. I catch him in my office all the time. Okay?
But in places that lend themselves to it. I mean, yeah.
I can tell you we have some big issues at the big ATL.
Yeah, but that's a massive property.
You got a lot of stairways.
Lots of nooks and crannies.
But lots of cameras, I would imagine.
And it's happened.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So security must have some interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I can imagine reading those security reports.
I'll tell you something off air. That was, to me, one of the most outlandish ones. I'll tell you off air. I can't say it on there. It had nothing to do with employees.
Right.
But, So like I say, these type of things highlight. And I think this is why people may have done their kind of analysis, where if he's talking about this, and people are visualizing it now.
Of course.
That's what I'm
warehouses,
saying, yes.
coolers, and
as soon as you walk in there, that's the first thing that comes to your head.
I know one thing. I ain't taking no meat like that no more. I
See,
watch my meats.
not a meat sale's gone down.
Okay, I want to watch my meats and my fruits, score them off.
Hey, can I get that scolded first, please? Thanks.
What's that?
Yeah.
No, I'll scald at home.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't trust your scalding. Okay. No.
See
so
what
anyway,
I mean?
And now we have the other little kind of controversy, since we're going random today, which is fun every now and again, and that is the alleged. What did they call it?
A war room.
War room. Now, let me tell you something. I am aware of a war room. They all have a war room. Everyone has a war room.
I mean, that doesn't seem particularly unusual.
That's not. No. So that's not anything to, be all excited about. Their political campaigns have a war room, and that war room is usually designed to not only strategize, but also to be. It's really a crisis management reaction to situations. Brainstorming type thing. Now, this is all alleged, that there was some dirty works done. And let me say, you got to believe that this exists everywhere on all sides. What happens is you don't want to get caught. And this seems like this is a scenario where there may be. Where did those texts come from?
I mean, this is what we're
Because they're
talking
printing
about.
the paper.
But isn't that what they're talking about when Donald Trump Jr. met with the Russians to get, what did they call it? Negative ops or whatever. What did they call
do it. Yeah.
I mean,
But the only thing with the Trump is that it's in another country.
I mean,
it's like
right.
espionage type stuff.
But right, that's a whole
Yeah.
a whole other matter.
Right.
But what I found interesting in the story was that I don't know who it was. They asked for a comment and they said, well, we have no evidence of it, so we're not going to comment. So the next question was, well, where are the WhatsApp chats coming from? Where are the text, the voice note? That's just being kind of passed around?
Well,
just from, just like how things make the rounds?
Going by.
it seems as if obviously there's a whistleblower. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the WhatsApp, whoever was in that WhatsApp
the voice
group.
note was sort of the whistleblower, right? Because he was the one who
I didn't
said,
hear the voice note.
well, I didn't hear it either. I only read about
Yeah.
it. But he was saying, oh, I was called into this war room. They asked me to find dirt on, this minister, that
Mm-hmm.
candidate, this candidate. So it seems like he was, although.
But you know what kills me though? This goes to another point. Again, you forget about this. We have no evidence on this. We don't know what went down. Obviously, if it went down, it's the part we hate about politics and everything, right? But I like to analyze the thing that no one else is analyzing. Who does this stuff on WhatsApp?
Apparently everything
it's supposed to be
happens
very
on
secure.
WhatsApp.
It's like Wiener sitting around his penis as a congressman, high-ranking congressman, on text.
Right. Why are you going to
Why are
be
you
texting
doing
text
this?
and
Is different.
WhatsApp?
Well, it's still
Text is
it's still
different.
evidence.
No, well,
it's still out there.
Yeah, if they use it against
I
you.
mean,
Yeah.
anybody could take a
Yeah.
screenshot and say, okay,
I'm
which is
holding
exactly
this.
what they did.
Right, outside of the two people that are,
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying,
Or
in
a
this
group
case,
of
this is a
people.
group
or
chat.
a group of,
Right.
Why would you exchange kind of black ops information?
Right,
Why would
in
you
a
have
group chat.
Why would you have a trail, a paper trail?
Right.
Exactly.
Maybe they don't think it's a paper trail because it's not on paper.
I would
think
hope
that's
they're
it?
a little smarter than
No,
that.
but I mean, I don't know why anyone would put that kind of stuff on a
Yeah.
pub with more than two people. Because at least if it's two people,
You know
can
who
say
it
it's you.
is. Yes, you know who.
Right.
You know exactly.
Yeah.
But when you do it in a group, then people, there are people, who are working in your camps and all that. They're not with you,
And they're not. Yeah, they
Right.
don't have your best.
They
interests.
maybe just be getting paid, And I know something about that particular scenario that I'm not at liberty to disclose when it came to that war room in particular. And I don't want to disclose it. I mean, it's not my place to disclose. I knew it was existing. I didn't know the content. There was an issue about where it was being run from, all that type of thing. So anyway, it's another thing. Now we have Candy today. She's gonna do her thing. We're doing it later, but we'll do it. What's going on?
I'm good.
You had a good holiday so far?
Holiday. I had a good weekend. Well, no.
Out of school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Them. Summer is always,
Uh-huh.
awesome. Just got to keep them busy.
Your kid's out of school too, right?
Yes.
Everybody's kids are out of school, Ed.
Yeah. Okay. You have kids? How old are your kids, Erica?
11 and 8.
Same ages.
The
The
same
exact
age?
same ages,
Yeah.
11 and 8.
Is that kind of a screwed up time?
No,
No.
it's actually quite fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
they're
alright.
kind of.
They're independent.
Yeah.
They're still loving. And
you can actually have regular conversations
Conversations.
with them.
Yeah.
Their personalities are
Okay.
coming out. It's fun, actually.
yeah, and they still want to hang out with you.
Yes, they still will let you. Well, my
Well,
daughter.
that's
Although
because
I-
they
Right.
require. You know why? They don't have any personal resources of their own. Okay.
Well, I mean,
You have
and
to buy
I'm
the food,
looking.
you have to buy the
Hey,
toys.
and I'm looking forward to that part of their life as well. When
they-
they
no, but that-
ain't
that-
bother.
It's never changing. Will
What?
it change
Of
is
course.
no. What's going to change, and I can tell you why. It's not changing. It's not. It doesn't change. They're always going to be on the payroll. They just have less respect.
Oh boy.
No man.
Yeah, you know that. You're aware of that.
Oh.
No, that's just reality. They don't rely as heavily,
Right.
but they still on the payroll.
Yeah.
And you don't mind. You don't mind
right.
that.
You still
I
want to
don't
help them.
Yeah.
You still,
Until what? When?
Until you die.
No. There's got to be some sort of cutoff.
Oh no. Trust me.
I know.
If they
I know.
in the world of reliance, just like an employee, if their only income is you, trust me, when the danger, when the desperation comes, they come to you. because
Right.
you're their only source.
Yeah.
So your kid has no other source. Well, many, and that you're their ultimate resort.
Yeah.
Last
Agreed.
resort.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I agree.
So tell me what's going on again.
So hey, leave it to me to bring up the depressing type of topics.
We're all depressed.
Well,
Don't
no.
worry
Well,
about it.
I wanted to bring this topic back up. I know we talk about it from time to time, and it's a very large topic about depression and anxiety, but from a different perspective today, in terms of not because you have people who are more prone to depression, and you have people that suffer from mental health that lead to depression, but you have cases where there are people that are actively pursuing happiness. They're seeking happiness, and when it's not met, they sink into a depression, and then they're miserable, and it's almost like a cat and mouse type of situation. You're always chasing this sense of happiness, and then when you don't attain it, you don't know how to deal with the negative emotions that come with it. And a lot of people don't know how to detect it, they aren't even aware that they're doing it. And they wonder why they are so miserable all the time, or depressed, or anxious.
Well, but you also have clinical depression as well. You're not talking about that.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
Right.
that.
But
Right.
I think, we talked about this before, and I think that, like a lot of things, our definition of things are wrong. So that means that the accompanying expectation is also wrong. We think happiness is a constant state.
Right.
That how come that other person is always happy? No, they're not. How come that person is always happy and I'm not? No one is always happy.
No.
You have to have constipation.
Well, see, of course, the social media is influences all of that, but then you have professionals though, and I see it even on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, and these professional, even whether they're motivational speakers or psychologists, well, maybe not psychologists, but it's almost like they send out this message for you to aim for maximize
on your
happiness,
thing.
right?
That's
To maximize on your more positive emotions, and then kind of, whenever the negative emotions, let's see how we can counteract against that. Those are not good.
You know who are in the same category?
Who's that?
Motivational speakers and preachers. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm serious.
Those prosperity.
They're giving you hope. It's a hope thing, right?
Right.
But most of them, I'm not saying all, but most of them are capitalizing on their happiness is based on you trying to find happiness.
Yeah.
I sit in seminars, I tell you this before, right? And I can't get to a seminar because the whole time I'm thinking is, first of all, this guy travels around doing this.
And
So
gets
this is
paid
not
handsomely.
customized to me.
Right.
Okay? He's just filling in the slot of me for that day. He's repeating the same thing. He's bored and unhappy with his life because it's boring. And all I'm thinking is he's getting paid. He's not here for my welfare. Okay? So I think the whole happiness
Make
thing
sure you pay
is...
that ticket.
What's that?
The seminar ticket.
Get your ticket and make sure you cover the rooms and this and that. I think the whole happiness chasing thing is where we have...
That's a big deal.
Is gone wrong. It's just not... It's not an attainable thing. Look at who
And you're
we
putting
look
all
at
this
who we
pressure on yourself.
well, look at who we want to emulate, right? Celebrities, right? And why is it that we want to emulate celebrities? Because everyone knows them, because
They could
because
get
they make
by
a lot of
whatever they
money,
want.
they can get to the front of the line, they're just so popular, and
They get lots of likes on Facebook.
so popular, and they're just and they talk with singing and all that kind of stuff, right? And they're miserable people. These people are more miserable than the people who try to be like them.
Right, but that's not. You don't even see that.
Well, of
you don't
course.
see that part
No.
because everybody
You only
is
see that part
putting
when
their
you hear
best
them
foot
on the
forward
drugs.
all of the time.
Is there research that shows the different levels before and post social media? Because I
That would
wonder,
be an interesting-
I wonder if if it existed on this level before there was Facebook and Instagram. Because I think one of the reasons why I no longer really go on social media because it was distracting. Like that was the main reason.
It's not productive.
But it's not productive, and I think that you can get so wrapped up in what's going on with other people's lives that you then lose sight of what you should be doing for your own. And it might not be anything major, but I think even on a subconscious level, it causes you to be like, oh, how come they're doing that and I'm not doing
and
that?
I need to be doing
You
that.
see someone sitting on a beach in Harbor Island having a
Erica.
pina colada, and you're thinking, wow.
And then
They
you go
gotta
and try
get
and
it?
go and have a pina colada on
I'm
the beach.
not
and
happy
you're-
right now.
that-
They're happy, and I'm not happy.
Right.
It's not working.
And the thing is really when you see someone happy, you should be happy for them. But social media has created, Ed is rolling his eyes.
I should be happy for them.
What?
In my
But
miserable existence,
There's
I
some
should be happy for
aspects
them.
of social media that's created the exact opposite effect.
Right.
Well, you're unhappy. It's not that you're unhappy for them. You're unhappy for you. Okay, no, I'm serious, right?
Yeah,
It
true.
isn't so much. I mean, yeah, you can be I don't know what they call it, hating on someone or whatever the deal is, right?
Right.
But that isn't even what's. It's all about you. It's all about,
Yeah, why am I not doing that?
Why am I? Yeah. Why,
And the
why
thing
am I
is-
working? Why am I not on the jet? And and why do people put it on there? See, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm happy. You're not.
Right.
I'm on the yacht.
Yeah.
You have a yacht?
No.
No. You're never gonna get one either. Sorry.
And it is not a matter of, we're not being happy, but it causes you to be depressed. Like even like cultures, Eastern cultures, like Buddhists, it's not that they are generally happier than, their Western counterparts. They are just less depressed.
But they're also less covetous.
Right. And they,
Right? They're in their thing. They're into the inner
actually
thing.
have more of a balance on their emotions.
And they only have one set of clothing.
Oh.
We'll be right back.
They don't have the
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're just gliding through life. What's the matter with John, man? Ken, what happened, man? What were you talking about before
I don't
that?
even
Before
know.
The glide through everything right off, man.
That's
You were talking about hobbies.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
need to
no.
get you some.
So, well, first of all, I decided that I'm going to just do things. So today I was on the way to see the doctor, and my friend of mine, I won't say, but said that they were going on this trip, and it was a 100-mile hike. It's like a sponsored hike,
Okay.
and they do like 6 to 15 miles a day. And then you go from the hospital, you go from, I'll tell you about the hospital. You go from one hotel,
On this
and
island?
they take your luggage, no, in Scotland.
Oh,
And they take the luggage from the hotel to the next hotel. And then you walk between hotels. And I figure 6 miles, I've done 3 miles on a treadmill. It takes about 45 minutes. So I
mean to
figure
walk.
6 miles,
To walk.
to walk.
Right.
So 6 miles, I figure that's 2-3 hours. And if you go 15 miles, 10 miles, let's just say it's 5 hours. 5 hours. So anyway, I went to see the doctor, get a checkup and what have you. Okay, I gotta call them back later. And I said to the guy, I said, listen, I want to do this because I was gonna go. It's in 2 weeks' time. I'm just gonna say, you know what? I'm not making decisions anymore. I'm just gonna do this because I want to do that. He said, don't fool with that. He said, you ain't ready for that yet. I said, what do you mean I'm ready for that? He goes, well, you might better get through day 1. Day 2 and 3 might be a little difficult. So I decided, but what I've decided, though, is I'm now not going to curtail myself on doing things.
Okay.
You just go.
Yeah, but you don't want to hurt yourself.
No, that's a unique scenario. I'm just saying I can
Okay.
just go do something else.
Right.
yeah.
But
I-
I've always
I-
restricted myself
I
from
think
that.
that's a great decision.
Yeah, I don't know why I just don't do anything.
What would you?
I mean, you
do
might
you have
feel like,
anything
oh,
in
I
mind?
can't do it now. I have too much work to do.
Yeah, but that has to stop.
Right.
Yeah.
That's other people are going
Exactly.
Yes.
and doing things.
That's
That's
how
right.
you got to prioritize
Yeah,
yourself.
so I'm just I just now have to figure out where to go.
Brainstorm.
But you want to go to New Zealand.
Yeah, I don't know if I can make that this year though, because Ken wanted me to go to Lucha Place. I've only been there like 8 times this year.
No, you should just take out a blank piece of paper,
Yeah,
get your pen, and just brainstorm.
and just
write,
that's what I think I'm going to do.
Just write whatever comes to
Yeah.
your mind. Just
Yeah.
write,
And what
and
a-
then go
what
back
a-
over it and circle some things.
What a great position to be in.
What's that?
Where
To be able to-
where to be able to do that.
Yeah.
To say, okay,
What
let
are you
me
talking about,
brainstorm.
Herbert? Say hi to my peach cobbler. I don't know what he's talking about. This is a person texting me about say hi to my peach cobbler. I have no idea what he's talking about. He can send me the thing and then let me know.
Were you supposed
But
to
anyway,
say that on air?
I don't care. I didn't say the name of the person. I didn't identify the person.
You sure? I
I
thought
did
I
not.
heard a name.
No, you didn't hear that. I said this guy.
Okay.
Yeah. But huh? I did?
Yeah, you did.
You did say a name.
You did.
Okay. Well, too bad. Everyone's forgotten it.
Yeah.
All right, so-
I mean, I don't remember the
Okay.
name, but I know you said it.
All right. So anyway, so I just got to figure out. I've got to say, you know what? Just you're right. I'm going to sit down and say, where do I want to go, and what do I want to do, and just go.
And it doesn't necessarily
And I'm
have to
not
be
going to
where
the
you
moon.
want to go, or just what do you want to do,
But you
around
so that's
here
gonna
too.
be your hobby.
But I also traveling, right? But I also feel like I've done a lot of things.
You
I don't know if there's stuff for me to do.
Of course.
see, that's
there
why
is.
But like what?
there's lots of
What
stuff.
do you mean, like what?
Open your mind to other things.
I don't want to go to anywhere in South America.
See, you're only thinking about traveling,
Well,
though.
what else would I do in Nassau?
Ed, let me
Can
tell
you
you.
listen?
Listen.
Yeah.
I've known
Draw?
you. No. I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
You are a workaholic.
Okay.
I don't think you.
Can you give me some things to do? Don't
I
tell me
will.
what I
What
do.
about if you took like a gourmet cooking class?
A what? I already know how to cook.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I've done these things.
And you've already read everything there.
No, I'm not
reading.
reading. Yeah, I've finished with
He's-
reading. That's
he's
over the
not
top.
reading.
That's over. That's
Okay.
And
that's
he's
ridiculous.
probably watched every Netflix movie and series.
Seen every movie. Listen,
Golf?
listen. Golf. Listen. Let me
Yes.
just say something. I've been fortunate in life. Not that I'm wealthy, but I've had experiences and opportunities. So I've gone on yachts. I've gone on jets. I've gone on skiing. What is there to do?
Paint?
This is why I say this whole thing of pursuit of happiness.
You want to paint?
Paint?
Yeah.
Like what? Your house?
You want to learn calligraphy? No, paint.
No, I'm not interested in those type of things.
Those are very
Ed,
soothing
what are
things.
you interested in?
See, that's what you need to find
This
out
is
first.
now
What you're
turning into
interested
a
in.
very interesting topic.
Yeah.
Me, and I don't like it. I'm just trying to.
We're gonna help you brainstorm.
I'm gonna have to go other places because I don't think certainly that there's a range of things. Okay, Erica and Candy, if I said to you right now, what would you like to do that's in the Bahamas right now? Let's keep it to New Providence this weekend. What would that be? No, just on your side. Forget about me.
No,
It's
see,
all about
my,
you now.
But my things don't have to be so grandiose.
No, but that's
though.
fine. Just tell me about
Okay.
one of those so many grandiose things. Knit?
No, I like to paint. I like to have just uninterrupted time.
Oh, I have a lot of that.
Well, yeah. See, yeah,
I
we're in
straight on
different
that.
worlds.
Yeah.
I mean, all kinds of things. Like, I mean, just,
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be this big.
You know what's so
thing.
interesting?
Simple.
I love it.
can
I
be
love
very
this, and I'm
simple.
going to go tomorrow, and I'm going to do this
With
because
that.
I really appreciate your advice, and I always appreciate your advice.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things. So tomorrow, I'm just going to go and do all kinds of things.
But it
Okay?
depends
I
on
don't know what
you're
they are.
interested in.
Yeah, it depends
But it
on what you're
depends on what
interested
you're interested in.
You know what your problem is?
Tell me what my problem is.
Your problem is you have absolutely no idea what you are like interested outside of your work.
Okay, that's what I think I said.
No, I mean no. I know. Besides like the traveling and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like it's almost like how old are you? You're gonna be 60.
I'm finished. That's where I am.
You're
Go ahead.
like you're getting to know yourself.
There's no
really getting to
listen,
know
I know
yourself.
some people. You know what I often wonder? And this is a kind of an odd thing. I see a lot of people who have what I call hobbies. There's something they do.
That's what I'm saying.
There's
Their
an obsession
interests.
that they have, right?
Right.
They're obsessed with fishing.
You like landscaping.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about gardening?
Go landscape somebody's stuff.
But fishing.
No, but I don't like. I've
No,
already
he doesn't-
gardened.
No, I don't think
My
he.
yard is
I don't.
gardened.
He doesn't want to physically do
No,
it
no,
himself.
no. I used to
You
do the
do?
physical stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's done.
Yeah.
You know, I always wanted a yard that was confined so I could do what I wanted to do, and that's done.
But what about expanding on that? Like, do you have a greenhouse? Is there a
Oh
particular
no! Now you're
kind
getting
of...
out of control.
No, that's me.
That's no, but I mean now you're talking
Yeah,
about come on, that's you got it. I mean fine, that's not me.
Okay.
That's not me.
Well,
You're
you
not
need to figure
interested.
out what's me.
Yeah, no, but I need you to figure it out for me. That's your whole job. Okay?
Oh, see there?
Have you figured out what's you?
What's that? Listen. If I could travel, I would like to
Well,
travel.
see, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to
if
travel.
I could,
travel is
if I could
amazing.
travel, I would
I've
travel.
decided I'm going to travel. I just now
You
have
know,
to
you
pick,
ain't got one job for me where I could travel.
I just have to pick the spots I have to go to because I want to go to places that are off the beaten path,
Yeah.
that are not
Touristy.
touristicy.
Yeah.
where I can hang with some people,
Yeah.
which means you also need long periods of time.
Yeah.
You can't just go to somewhere like on a 4-day trip.
Are you into like adventure travel?
Now, when you say that, you mean like
No
near death?
skydiving and stuff.
Well, I wanted to skydive,
Yeah, I
but I was too
remember
heavy.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
So,
no.
Until I
mean,
get the
like,
liposuction, that ain't happen.
Just like you were talking about the hike.
Right.
I would
like-
love to do that.
Right.
That's
But
what I
you
like.
just
I
have
like
to
to
get
do
in
that.
shape for that.
Yeah.
That's what your doctor was saying.
Well, he was saying I have to build up.
Right.
You can't just do it willy-nilly.
Right.
But I definitely want to go to New Zealand. I definitely want to go to I think I want to go to Australia. I'm not sure. But I definitely want to go to New
The
Zealand.
thing is, with
You're on the
Australia,
Once you're
you're
out there,
going
you're
to
out
New
there.
Zealand.
Yeah.
You might as well just hang a
stop
10
by.
and.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I mean my wife is away, so I can say what I'm about to say. I think I'd also like
'Cause she's not in the country.
kind of like a what do you call those guys? The crown prince type guys. Harem, a
Oh,
harem guy.
oh Lord, look where Ed goes.
See, no, I'm just you see, you told me to be honest. I'm telling you, just for a weekend or two.
Or two.
Yeah, just see what's going on. What kind of lifestyle that is. I have a Rolls Royce. You have the By the way, I'm going to go to Abu Dhabi next year. I'm getting some of those robes.
You're gonna okay.
You know the robes they wear?
Yeah.
I'm going to get a couple of
familiar
those.
with them.
I don't know where I'm going to wear them. Probably go to work. Hey.
Exactly. But see, that's great stuff
Exactly.
too. Yeah, just do that.
They kind of just flow behind you,
What would people say? And what do I
But
care?
who cares?
Would that be against the rules, you think?
I don't think
What,
so.
to wear a robe
To
to
wa-
work?
But the dress of the Saudis.
No.
No.
Why?
No.
That's your stilo. That's your style.
My what?
Your style.
Okay,
Your
Stila?
stilo.
Okay. No, but so be out of the box, but you don't want to just be out of the box for the sake of being out of the box, but you want to do things that make you happy, make you feel comfortable.
Right.
So anyway, it's going to be an interesting next couple of years because I know that I'm. By the way, I tell people all the time, and this is probably another thing that is very concerning to me, but I'm saying this to the general public, not about me. What's this?
This is a list.
From whom? From just a list?
Just a list.
Can I read
them.
it?
Yeah, you can.
Hunting.
Suggestions.
Hunt.
This is a very interesting list because it all revolves around the same theme.
No, it does
Hunting, bird shooting, deep sea fishing. It revolves around and then fly a plane.
Killing.
I wouldn't mind
not. I
flying a
was
plane.
just gonna, as soon as I saw fly a plane.
Yeah,
lessons.
yeah. I'm going to do that. That's a good idea.
That
there?
is a good idea. And then you can just buy your own plane eventually.
I'd like to get it. You know what? One of my
Exactly.
greatest things would be is to have a seaplane,
See?
but it's restricting. But at least you could fly it around, the Bahamas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen one.
Yeah,
I've-
fly
I
a
haven't
plane.
seen
I'm
it in
going to
a
take
long
plane.
time.
How do you
Why
take
not?
plane lessons?
You just
Just go
We'll
and sign
find
up?
out.
Find out for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Or something. And,
All right.
We'll find out for
So
you. See there?
no, yeah. So there you go. I've done hunting, by the way. Yeah.
What kind of hunting?
I've hunted deer,
Really?
Yeah.
Aw.
What was that?
and I
like?
hunted deer with an arrow,
Oh, like archery.
archery.
Archery is like a thing here now. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
Yeah.
My
Bahamas
nephew
Archery
actually
Association.
does.
We used to talk about it when
Does
we
it?
were on the radio many years ago. Why don't we have that? But it's big now. Well, not big,
It's
but
very
it's
zen,
growing.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
my
there's
nephew
something
does.
to it.
But I did
that's-
archery in college.
Huh.
I'm telling you, man.
But
Listen.
you don't seem like you could get your
You
head
look like-
there to do that.
Yes, boy, it was good.
Wow.
I did when I was in college. So I am very kind of adventurous. Like I went to the Valhalla Ballroom in
Yes.
Marshall, Minnesota.
That was brave.
Okay. But we had a scenario where you paid for 17 credits, but normally people only took 16 because each course was 4. So you had 1 extra credit.
Right.
And a lot of PE courses were 1 credit. This is how I was able to graduate a semester early because I always took the PE course.
Okay.
So I took archery, I took badminton, I took bowling, I took rifle marksmanship, and this is the one that's going to get you. Well, I took cross-country skiing. This is the one that's going to get you. And I took equestrian.
No, you didn't.
I did. I jumped horses.
Did you like it?
I did it because when I was a kid, I got thrown from a horse, so I freaked out.
And-
So I decided I got to get over that, and I liked it.
And did it work?
It was a little crushing on the testicles.
Is that why you don't find a lot of men doing
No, I just think they don't know how they ride properly.
Right.
If you ride properly, that won't happen.
Okay.
I was sore for a while, but yeah, I liked it. I was the only guy.
Right.
in the course,
You don't see
you know.
it. My daughter rides, and
Yeah.
there are like 2 boys who ride.
So so when I say,
You've
I experienced some
explored things, yeah.
I've explored, I love to ski
Do you play
Downhill?
chess?
downhill.
Do you play chess?
I played chess. My brother's was a chess champion in the Bahamas.
Oh, yeah?
But no, I
There's
wasn't big on
chess
chess. It was
clubs.
that's too cerebral for
Cerebral?
me. Yeah. I don't understand that whole seeing 5
Seeing
moves in
ahead.
advance thing.
Yeah.
That's a different level of person who does
Poker.
it.
Do you
Huh?
play? Do you play poker?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I still play that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I
Any
love to
museum,
ski.
Like,
What's that?
I'm saying you've
Yeah,
yes, you're not-
I've had a thing. Skiing is probably the thing that I probably, believe it or not, enjoy the most. I'm just
Really?
not physically fit for it now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you also don't have a ton of opportunity to do it.
Well, I used to go every year.
All right, but I mean, still.
It's not like I could go out in my backyard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I've done that trip. You remember when I used to do that, Candy?
Yeah.
And we used to go to Europe.
Wow.
So I've actually, I don't know why this sounds too indulgent, but I actually skied in the Alps.
That's fabulous.
See, there you go.
Ken, you can ski? No. You'll try it?
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I can take you on a skiing trip.
Well,
Anyway.
okay, so Erica's going to New Zealand with you.
Uh-huh. Ken is
going skiing.
and you're going to be the co-pilot in the plane.
No, I don't want that
Ed
one.
is going to take you to Eleuthera.
I don't want that one.
No, Ken, let me tell you something.
I just come from Eleuthera.
I'm going to no single-engine plane, Jack.
I just came
Okay?
from Eleuthera.
Those
So we
are-
can figure out
I mean,
what,
do they have
you know.
seaplanes that aren't single engine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they have.
Yeah.
big
There's one
ones?
I've seen just recently.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
where.
yeah.
I
But
think
you know,
they.
taking flying lessons is something I would do as well.
Yeah.
You know
I'm
what
not,
freaks me out though? Is
I'm
like
not, I'm
that
not about
first
that life.
that first solo thing. But I guess it by that time. By the way, they have a simulator down here.
Yeah.
right
Thing,
at that point.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that must be fun. Hey,
Oh yeah.
to be able to fly.
I mean,
My
it
kids wanna
seems
go
like
back.
it's
Yeah.
something
You
you,
fly
get,
to-
you
yeah?
get addicted to
No,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've talked about me, and we ended on flying. We were supposed to talk about flying today with our guest from Western Air, but unfortunately didn't come. I want to thank Erica for coming by, and Candy, thanks for
And
sticking
staying
it out.
for the whole show.
Yeah, thanks for sticking it out. Ken, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for giving me the paper towel list of things to do. See you tomorrow on Thursday.